Okay, back for turn 3. So before we get into this, I just want to point out that at the end of turn 2, there were still some Japanese disrupted markers on the red and blue groups up here that I have now removed. So that is all correct. So all the disrupted markers from the US and the Japanese that should have been removed in turn 2 have now been removed. So we're all back on the level again. Hopefully there's no other mistakes made so far. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm not going to make any mistakes here, but if I do, then please do point them out, hopefully before I post the next video. And then I'll see if I can hopefully be able to fix them before next time. Otherwise they might just have to stay there. So hopefully I won't make too many though. So turn 3, the first thing we have to do is the landing phase. So once again we're starting on the north side on the left. We progress down through these landing zones and see what happens. So I'm going to put this down here for now, just so we can zoom in and make things a little bit more visible. So we haven't got too many over in the first 4 zones. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the last one there. So first one, we have a yellow circle drift right. Or yellow is a thing. So a yellow circle would be hit, but there isn't actually a yellow circle. So I think that means we get away scot-free from that one. Yeah, if it's got to match the fire dot in the landing box, and yeah, so yeah, we've got the right color, but there's no the right symbol isn't there, and we're only looking at what's in the landing zone here as well. So they are fine. That's good. Next one. Red triangle, no drift. There is a red, there is a triangle. So this guy gets hit, but he does not drift. So he is down to half strength already, and that's one of the tanks. So not great. Purple diamond, no drift. We have no purple, we have no diamond, so they're both in there okay. Red triangle, no drift. Again, no red, no triangle, so we're all fine. Now it's going to get fun because we've got pretty much every symbol here, I think. So if it's a brown or a purple, and it's a green diamond, drift left. So there's no green fire here, but we do have diamonds. Now interestingly, we have 2 diamonds. So do we just pick one, or do they both drift left? We pick one. Okay, so who do we want to drift left? It's either going to be A17 or the C, I don't know what you call that, C-1T. Let's drift the tank over to the left, so that's going to go there, and then everyone else is fine. Okay, so the first part of that done. So now we shift all these guys up to the beach. Right, so interesting. Now we've got the HQ units. So these are the ones with the stars on. So these are also infantry. And these, whatever unit is stacked with them, can get a free action as well as the HQ gets a free action as well. So they're quite nice, but they're very limited in their range of free actions. There's some HQs that will show up later on that have like a 1 hex radius for free actions. Like everyone in that 1 hex radius can do a free action, and they're a lot better. But I realized when I've played this first time that like a significant part of this, I guess, is the setup here, where you're bringing your forces onto the beach and you're trying to kind of put them, arrange them in an optimal way that they, you know, enough pieces have free actions and so on, you know, in the best possible way. And that is kind of hard to do because, you know, when you can't really plan it out much in advance because, you know, your HQs might drift or get shot at or whatever. The other nice thing about the HQs is that they automatically have a mortar and a flamethrower as well, and they keep that whether they're damaged or not. So the problem now is here, like these guys are basically, you know, they can only have a maximum of 2 units per stack, and this is a stack. I just don't like putting them in a stack because it means they're harder to see, but this counts as a stack. So this hex is full. This hex is just a death trap, really. So it's looking like the ideal thing to do would just be to put both of these over here, which is not perfect. Like, I'd like to have these guys with an infantry unit ideally, but you know, maybe they can move into there or something, I don't know. So next, again, we've got HQ and a slightly depleted tank unit. There are places for them to go. Could put the tank over here and the HQ over there. It's basically, where do I want the HQ? That's a bit nicer because the HQ could move into that hex. Or maybe no, can't really because it's an infiltration move. Let's put the tank over here and we'll put the HQ over here, and then he can boss around F21. Up here, so we got anywhere really. Could just put them both in here. That would be less risky for everyone. It's only got the yellow intense fire zone there. Over here, so now we've got this nice juicy heavy weapons infantry guy. So he is, unlike the other infantry units, he doesn't lose his weapons when they don't lose their weapons when they get damaged. So they're like maximum capacity all the way, and they're quite strong as well. So could put those here, and tank could go there. That's adding up to 6. That's not too bad. Just make sure these other ones were not over 6. No, they weren't. Let's do that. We've got a bit of a gap there, but let's see what we can do here. So here we're going to be crowding things a bit because we've got 3 4-strength units here, and we got 1 3-strength unit there. So somebody is going to be a concentrated target. So do I want to put the headquarters over here? I mean, if I do that, then this one isn't going to be the concentrated target. It's going to be one of the other two because they'll have 2 guys in them. Although that said, again, I can move people out with preservation moves, so they may not necessarily stay that way. Because one thing that one victory condition is to get over here and take these guys out on the point. Because these are causing a lot of trouble for them. But to get there is you basically have to go straight for them. So you have to kind of get really aggressive and just charge up over here and get over this shallows and into this area and take them out. And I'm not sure. I mean, I could try that, and we can see if we can get that to work. But the downside of that is that it's diverting your forces over here, when really what we're trying to do is basically just wipe out all these beach positions, and then sweep over here into the northern part of the airfield. I mean we could give it a go, but then the problem is I'll put the HQ there with the 3 unit here, and really I want to have a 4 unit at least to rumble over there. But or I can put it over there. Yeah, no, let's just do this. So I'm going to put HQ with C, and we'll put A up here, and we'll put B with L here, and we'll see how that goes, I think. So that's the placement, and then we put the next lot out here. Now these are a little more interesting, because now we just have we don't have them broken down into specific zones as much. There's these two actually still are. So 03, these two are coming in 03, in orange 3, but these guys are just orange, so they can come in any of the oranges. Really, they can come in 1, 2, or 3, and presumably we'll have to decide that when we actually do that turn. I'll look that up for next turn. These guys have to come in here though, so this is going to get more crowded. So we'll have to start shifting people off here. But before we do any of that, we have an event. So now we're on to phase 2. And the first event is add a depth marker to 1 Japanese unit. Oh, that's my favorite. So let's see how that works. So the depth markers are the counters that are underneath some of these. Not all of these have them, but some of them do. And over time, we're going to get more of those happening. Like this is a fairly common event. So what happens is we choose a Japanese unit closest in hexes to a US unit. Well, I mean, there's lots. But we need to find one that has 1 marker. So this has 2, this has 2, this has 1, this has 1, this has 1, this has 1, this has 1. So it's going to be one of these ones that has one marker. And then we have to go with ones that are adjacent to a beach landing hex, ideally. So that's this. This one isn't, so we can ignore that. That one is. That one isn't. That one isn't. So it's going to be, where were we? Brown, red, red or yellow by the looks of it. And then place the one in position with the lowest ID number. Alright, well this one's B2. This is B6, this is B7, and this is B9. So it looks like B2 is the one that's going to get the depth marker. So we've got depth markers in here. I'll give it a shuffle. So under here is some bonus basically that's gonna add to whatever this unit on top is. So now this has essentially become tougher. He has to be in communication to receive a depth marker, but he is, because he can draw lines to loads of other units. That's fine. He's good. So I think that is it for that. Now the fun part is Japanese fire phase. So what have we got here? We have a red, a purple, and a blue, and a diamond. Now the letters are going to start to become relevant. So you'll notice that on the turn track, certain turns have got these letters, and these are like special actions that they can start doing. So we've got a red M. We don't have a purple P. We just got a normal purple because P doesn't show up till turn 7. And the star actually does apply here as well. So let's bring this down here where we can see it a little better, close to the action. So I'll go through what those mean in next, basically. So first, let's see who is actually firing. So we've got red, purple, and blue. So let's get our little markers on things just to show who's around. So what do these mean? So M can mean a bunch of things. Most commonly, it will be fire with machine guns, and machine guns will basically extend the range of these dots so that they are they extend one. I think they extend one further out. Will affect units in hexes that have no fire dots but are adjacent to hexes with intense fire dots. So, for example, here around the red unit, this hex is adjacent to a red fire dot. This hex and this hex. Sorry, that has one in it already. This hex, see, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one, probably that one as well if there was anyone in it, at least. So those hexes would be able to be affected by fire with the machine gun action. Another thing that they can do, we can have mortar fire, and all the things that that these depend on is like whether there are any US units in their field of fire. So these guys could actually get away with that because they're 1, 2, 3, 4. So when it says within 4 hexes, it means 4 hexes or less. So these guys could actually potentially lob a mortar over to here and hit somebody. So that's interesting because they're out of the field of fire. Yeah, they're outside Red's field of fire there. So that's a possibility. Another thing, so unoccupied, in communication, but if there is a US unit within 3 hexes, they could muster. So if there was an empty red hex, there's one here, but there's no US unit within 3 hexes of it, so nothing will happen there. But like if say this was an empty hex, then muster would actually put a unit in there with a depth marker, so it would be a full strength kind of unit. In fact, there is a US unit within 3 here, so we should put a little marker on that because this hex is within muster range, so that could happen. And then if we're looking at a tank, an army unit, and they get an M result, then they could multiple fire. So most units can only fire once, but a tank with an M will actually be able to fire more than once, which is quite scary. So there's going to be some interesting things happening. So the star is the only other relevant thing here, and that means that blue has a possibility of hitting leaders, which is a little risky here because blue could potentially hit. I mean, it's only likely to hit one leader here, but there is a leader here with a star symbol. This one is a steady fire hex, so he's not likely to get hit because you have to resolve all the firing going on in the intense fire hexes first. I think the leader only gets hit if there's nobody else there to hit, though. It's not terribly likely that they're going to get hit, but in this case, because it's quite crowded there, but that is a risk. Now, the first thing I think we need to worry about are the tanks. It actually says, well, this way it's talking about the actions. It's talking about checking obviously you check the first colour, then the second colour, and the third colour on the card. Within a position colour, check all position hexes in order from west closest to you to east. So remember, this is west. So ideally we're actually starting down here and then working out. Well, let's go with that. So, because the thing we have to remember with the tanks is that they're going to be doing things up here. And they're either going to be firing or advancing, and there's no units to fire at, because there's no units within their field of fire. But if they're advancing, then they kind of hopscotch along these positions towards the beach, and then that's going to bring them closer, which is going to be dangerous. And they actually have the ability to swap with a non-army unit, but ultimately they're going to move towards the nearest US unit, which means they're going to move towards the beach here. So red M, in this case we get a muster, and when we muster we are going to put a reserve unit and a depth marker there. So we've got some troops in here. I will shuffle them up. I don't know what that one is. So we've got a guy there. We just shuffled the depth here. So these guys now have depth and a unit, but you'll notice they can't actually hit anyone on the beach because these guys are actually in the jungle. They only have a range that is immediately around them. They are a B hex though, so they are one of the hexes that we would like to try and take out. These are also B hexes. I know it says that looks like an E, but it's a B. I had a lot of fun trying to scan this board in. As you can see, it's a bit mangled at the seams here, but that is a B. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to get to these because it's tough to move through the jungles and so on. But we may be able to take him out, possibly, at least. So he's mustered there, so he's done. And there's not much else he can do there. This guy is one unit, so he's going to be hitting one. Now because he's occupied, he actually has that machine gun extra thing going on here. So he's an occupied position. There's US units within its field of fire, so he gets the M means machine gun for him. So in this case, it has no real extra effect. Potentially he could hit here, this this hex here, but there's nobody in it, and this hex potentially, but remember the machine gun is actually like the lowest of the priorities of determining who gets hit by fire. So essentially this guy's just going to hit one of these units. It's going to be the highest strength unit nearby, which is this one. And because he is unrevealed, it's going to be a disrupted unit there as well. So E21 has been reduced by him, and that's all she wrote for that one, really. So he's done. Now this one we decided could be the mortar. So again, we look at our little chart here. It's occupied with no US units in its field of fire, but it can hit US targets, US units with the indicated target symbol within 4 hexes. Otherwise, no action. So the symbol was a diamond within 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's the range here. So fortunately for the Americans, there are just circles and triangles here, and the diamond guy is actually over here, out of range of the mortar, so he doesn't do anything either. I don't think there's any other red hexes that can do anything there, so get rid of those. Oops. But now to figure out what to do with the tank up here, because he obviously can do something. Again, like this unit here is occupied. There's no units within 3 hexes, but that would mean that he can do mortar fire. He is a mountain unit. He's not a mountain top unit. But yeah, he can't hit anyone basically. So the tank can't fire. Sorry, all he can do is multiple fire, and he can't multiple fire at anyone because there's nobody there. So he actually isn't doing anything. So that's all good. So I think we are good for the reds now. So purple. Purple is down here. The P doesn't matter. We're not worrying about P yet. Now that means that the purple tank can actually do something because the P doesn't matter. He's going to fire or advance, but we'll do this guy first. So now he can hit 2 units because there's 2 counters here, and he has, now he can't actually hit him. He's in the kind of safe zone here, but these guys are targets, and he's gonna hit, definitely gonna hit him. Now the rest of them have 2 steps. Probably going to go for the closer one, I would imagine. That's how that works. So it's going to hit this, who will also be disrupted. Oh, hang on. That was a 3 already. Oh, okay, right. Hang on. Crisis. Right, so he was a 3 already. He is now hit again to become a 2. That means, where are we? That means that we have L31. Where's L31? Where is L31? did that right. L31 here is now a reduced unit with 2 steps. And he's disrupted, so he's lost even more weapons now. He's lost his machine gun. He's now just got bazooka and radio. And he is now a 2-step with 3 strength. And this counter goes off into the great catastrophic loss box in the sky here. And sets us down the road to oblivion. So if this gets above a certain number of counters in here, which depends on the turn, so it's usually double the turn number, then that's it, game over, we're dead. So in turn 5, if we've got 10 counters in that by the end of turn 5, that's it, we're done, game over. And we've got 1 in there already. So he's gone, or he's reduced, and then one of these 2 is going to get reduced. So if I flip you, you're just a 2/6. Flip you, you're you're still an MO. I think I'm going to flip the tank. Because also the other thing about tanks is that they don't count for the catastrophic loss. So we'll just do that with you, and they're also disrupted. So that was painful. We've already got a reduced unit here in turn 3. That's not great. So he's done. I guess what's happening up here now. So the tank up here, he can't fire, but he can advance. So you can move to a position that is unoccupied or occupied by a non-armored Japanese unit no more than 3 hexes away and closer to the nearest US unit. Well, that's unoccupied, so he's going to go down here. So he's advanced down to the blue spot here, and that changes his colour from purple to blue. So he's done. And now over here we have a target-rich environment here. There's one counter there that can fire, but we've got one. Yeah, like any of these 4-step units is going to get hit, but it's going to be this one because he's closer. So he's going to take a hit. K37. He is disrupted. Right, so that's a pain. So that's the purples done. Let's get them out of the way. And then we move on to the blues. And the blue, so here again, target rich environment. He can hit 2. This is going to be nasty, isn't it? He can hit the leader, but remember it's the last option on the list. That's a steady fire, so again that's essentially the last option on the list as well, but before the leader. But he's going to hit two of these 3-step units, and is he going to hit? I mean, he could hit any of them. It's just I pick which one. It might be better to hit both of these, because at the moment the HQ unit is down here. Would be able to do something with this guy if he was not disrupted, whereas these 2, they're kind of on their own. I'd have to spend an action on them to do anything anyway. I think I am actually going to flip both of these over. I don't think there's anything. Whoops. Oh, actually, if I flip, ooh, haha, no. Well, I mean, either way, I'm going to lose. I'm going down from 3 to 2 anyway, so either way, we're going to get 2 more reduced units out there. But I don't think there's anything stopping them from hitting 2 targets to 1 hex. So I am going to flip both, or get rid of a step from both of those. So it's I31 and B15. So that's going to be painful. I31 and B15. Yikes. That is not good. That is not good at all. We already lost 3 units here. Well, at least depleted 3 units here. And we're on turn 3. Right, so that gets a disrupted and disrupted. So they're taking a pounding there. So he's done. And then this lot. So again, this is now the only people that are within range are steady fire, and they need to be hitting a diamond. Actually, this guy is a diamond, isn't he? So he's actually going to take the hit. Oops, that's one. He's going to take the hit because he has to, because he is in that zone. Does he still get disrupted? Oh, actually, he doesn't. He's a tank. He's a tank, so he doesn't get hit. I may have made a mistake earlier on. Perhaps. Did I? No, he's no, he was fine. Like if it's steady, if it's intense fire, it doesn't matter if they're a tank or not. Like they'll still take damage, but that one won't actually get hit. And there's no other one with a diamond symbol on, so nothing gets hit there. So that's okay. Right. So I didn't screw that up. Okay. Well, that was unpleasant. And then this guy again. He can fire or advance. He can move into a position that is closer. I think he's just going to swap down here, really. That's closer than this one. So yeah, he's going to just advance down to there. And that's him. So that was yucky. That's pretty unpleasant. And thus concludeth the Japanese fire phase. So red, purple and blue, if any of those were disrupted, they are no longer disrupted, but I don't think any Japanese units are disrupted, so we are good. Right. We do not have a second event phase quite yet. We don't have the US headquarters phase, but we will have US action phase. So now is my time to move and or retaliate. Well, so we still have our two actions, but now we have some free actions. We have the usual free actions of the preservation moves, getting our guys off the beach, and we also have free actions caused by our HQ units. So that's this lot. This lot here, this lot, who else? These guys who can't really do anything really on his own. I mean, he could attack them, but not very effectively. He possibly the best thing to do with this guy is have him do an infiltration move here, but again he runs the risk of getting shot up by both of these guys if we get a brown or a purple, but we could get him into there, and that would mean that the HQ and the K31 unit would be able to do something next turn, but they're going to be weakened because he's a 1 when he's flipped over. And then the numbers here are going to be important when we're trying to compare strengths to see how much damage we've done. Or if we even do any damage. Or if we get disrupted, or worse, possibly. Well, our HQ has a free move anyway by himself. So his free move, and this isn't a preservation move now, this is his actual free action, is going to be to try and do an infiltration move into this hex, which I believe he is allowed to do. I don't think there's anything stopping him from doing that. Oh, bugger. There is. Regimental HQs and infantry HQs may not attempt an infiltration move on their own. Ah. Crap, so he can't do that, so he's stuck there. Bums. Okay, that sucks. Right, so I think that HQ is just going to hang tough. Now here, though, it's a slightly different story, because we can try to attack. Now, annoyingly, the way things are set up here, and the way people are disrupted here, is not ideal, because if this requires a flanking attack, so if we flip this unit over, it says FL, or the depth does, then it's just impossible to do that, because if these guys were over here and we had some active non-disrupted units 2 hexes away that we could throw into the attack, it wouldn't matter. But I think for now we're just going to have to basically use both of these to open fire. So we just do a normal fire attack on these guys here and see what they are, and then we at least might know what we're up against there. I could bring the tank in on that as well, but that actually would be an action in itself. So doing this, like, he gets a free action and his unit, the unit that he's stacked with, will get a free action. So they can just do 1 attack, but for this guy to participate would cost another action, would cost one of my 2 actions, which I'm not entirely sure if I would like to do that. Like here, like this might be another thing I want to attack, but again, there's no HQ here, so this would take 1 action to do. And it would take 1 action to just have one of these guys fire on them. Same here. Getting any of these guys into that hex would also require an action. He can't move up there. There's going to be a bit of a logjam there. These guys can attack for free, and we can get another unit in again by spending an action, so same sort of situation there. These guys can move into there for free, that's something at least. These guys won't be able to attack because there's no infantry there. These guys are going to cost actions to move. Although, well, they can do preservation actions, but then I really want to get him up into here, ideally. Which means he's not moving off the beach. And he's not moving off the beach. Well, he can move off the beach into here for free, or they can move off the beach for free. So I could split them up, like this guy could go here and this guy could go there, because neither of those are beach landing hexes. Don't know whether that's a great idea though. Might be better to keep them together. So it looks like, I mean, this guy's gonna be free. This guy's gonna be free. These guys are gonna be free. Let's get some of these things out. Kind of plan in advance here. So he's gonna be free. He's gonna be free. Whatever he does is gonna be free. I won't. These aren't kind of activated until I put the counters on top of them, or the cubes on top of them. This guy potentially could do something for free. He can potentially, well, he can do something for free. We also have preservation moves we could be doing, but if he's going to attack, then these guys can't move anywhere. I suppose one of these could move, like tank could move into here, I suppose. That at least would work. Theoretically, the tank could move in, or could contribute to the attack, because he's got a range of 3. No, it's got a range of 6, sorry. So he could, potentially he could attack from 6 hexes away. It's kind of ridiculous. Could actually even do a barrage, potentially, which I haven't done before, but again, that's going to cost an action. But that has a chance of just disrupting the target. Yeah, so if I would draw a card that had the tank symbol, which is diamond, and a yellow colour on it, that unit would be disrupted and it would have its depth removed. So just, you know, the barrage is handy for kind of knocking out the position at least, so it can't attack next round, which is quite nice. But again, that would cost an action in this case. I mean, I could potentially use this one's tank, use a tank from this HQ on there as well, because it is in command of any HQ. And there is an attack going on from here, but I think it might be better to just, in this case, to just use one of these units if I'm going to throw anyone else in. But that said, I have, when I look at the values here, I've got a 2 and I've got an 8 for the strength. So there's a combined strength of 10 here. I don't think this guy can have a strength of more than 4 with 1 counter. There's a chance he could get a depth marker if whatever his required weapons are, you know, if I don't have those. And if I am equal to or greater but not double. But with that, with 10, I've got to be double. At least. And that would, at the very least, that would disrupt him. If I do have the right things, which, you know, chances are I do, then I would actually just annihilate him, basically. Because that's good, because then I could actually move. You know, I could, if I managed to destroy him with this attack, I could actually order one of these into that hex, and then we've got that position. I could even use my other action to move one of these units into that hex as well. In fact, I could do, you know, I could move anyone directly into that hex from here, because like there won't be a fire. There won't be fire coming from that position anymore. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but like, this is the thing here. Like you gotta look at the whole thing. And go, what do I want to do? What's the best thing? But it looks like attacking the yellow position here with these guys is definitely on the cards. And then attacking these, now this isn't as good. And I don't want to use up all my not free actions. I could attack here. Again, it's kind of nasty there. The other thing, actually, the other thing is, let's have a look at our little friend the terrain chart here. So, what I forgot is that in certain situations, the unit strengths are doubled. So here, this slightly darker terrain here, which isn't terribly obvious, is coral. So this unit actually has its unit strength doubled. Where is it? Unit strength and depth strength doubled. So this is really hard to take out. When they're in a jungle, which is this one, they have just their unit strength doubled. So actually, having an attack strength of 10 coming into this might not be enough. If he's got a strength of 3 or 4, that's not going to be enough to double. So I think I'm going to have to use a unit. A nearby unit here to chip in, which is a bit annoying. Let's just resolve some of this then. Like we'll start over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use up one of my 2 actions, which is the rotated cube, to get L35 here to chip in. And I'm gonna use these guys to actually do attacks. So we're gonna have a combined attack. So now we've got a combined attack of 2 plus 8 plus 7, so that's 17, which should be enough. So to resolve an attack, so you know, now you can actually see how we do an attack. So let's see what we got. We reveal the Japanese unit. If it has a depth marker, do not reveal it yet. So let's see what this is. Oh joy, it's a FL. Great, brilliant. Fantastic. So it's a machine gun unit, but it's got FL, BZ, and a 3. So that means it requires flanking. So if I had got K35 and L35 to attack him, that would have counted as a flanking. And he needs a bazooka. So everyone's got bazookas here. Now the problem is we've got, yes, the attack's coming in from 2 different hexes, but they're not far enough apart to count as flanking. Flanking are the bane of my existence in this game. So that means that we do not have the required weapons to take this out, because flanking, even though it's not a weapon, is it's treated like a weapon. you don't have the required thing. So we look on our attack results chart on the player aid, which I have here, and it's not in the TTS version here. And we have, so this is in the jungle, so it's doubled, so he's got a strength of 6. We've got more than double his strength though, so we've got 17 here, he's got 6, so that's more than 12. And if he's alone and we don't have the required weapons, but we've got at least double the strength, that means that he is disrupted, and that is all that happens to him. But we have revealed him, so that's something at least. But yeah, sadly we did not take him out because of course he was a flanking. There's like, I think it's a fifth or so of the units have flanking, and I always seem to get them just, they're all on the front line here. So, alright, well that sucked. So we didn't clear that out. And I don't think we can do another attack on that guy. I don't think we can do a close combat, for example, on him. However, he is now revealed, which means I could potentially do a barrage on him. Although he can't be attacked and barraged in the same phase. Okay. Fine. I'm pretty sure I can't close combat them as well. Yeah, can't close combat an enemy occupied hex that was attacked in the same action phase. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to leave that lot for now, unfortunately. So that's really annoying. Okay, so that's grand. In the brush, what's going on in the brush? So that's this stuff. So we've got a unit in the brush here. Half strength of US infantry conducting range fire through intervening brush hex. So if there was, if say I was using this tank to do ranged fire on this hex, then its strength would be halved because of the brush, but I'm not doing that. So this is going to be risky. So again, I've used one of my 2 actions up. Now I could use another action to move them into here, because that's not going to be an infiltration move. I could do that with K35, but that would be an infiltration move. However, they're disrupted, so that wouldn't be an infiltration move. That would just be a normal move. So I could use that to get them into there and at least get into that thing, because the problem with these empty positions is that they can get filled up with M results and things, right? And we don't want that. So I think it's important to do that. Is it more important to do that than support this attack? Because at the moment I would have to spend an action to use the tank to add its 3 firepower. And I believe it's got a machine gun and a flamethrower as well because it's next door. But we've got that here anyway. The danger here is that this is going to be less than this combined strength, but it should be alright for now. Okay, let's do this attack. So we've got 7 here. We've also got, these guys have got mortars and flamethrowers as well, so it's effectively, unless this guy has flanking, we should be good, but the depth marker may complicate things here. So again, mortar, great, excellent. We have a mortar here with the HQ, so that means that theoretically we've got him, but we have 7. That's more than double 3. And we do have the right weapons, but now we reveal the depth marker, compare again, and consult the column to the right. So this is where it could get screwed. Ooh, tactical reinforcement. Okay, that's unexpected. So, what does that mean? I only had that one once before. Right. Remove depth marker from play. Right, so this is gone. So, fine. Draw a unit from the Japanese reserve pool and place it in the unoccupied position hex nearest to the position from which you removed the depth marker. Oh god. Oh god. That's not good. So, unoccupied position hex nearest to the position from which you removed the depth marker. 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please be further. 1, 2, 3. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aha. Phew. Okay, this is like, oh god, he's going to put a bloody unit in here now. I don't think it is, because the unoccupied position nearest to the position from which you removed the depth marker is going to be this one. Oh no, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's going to be over here. So B10 is going to get the unit. I don't think it gets. I don't think it gets its own depth marker though. I think it's just a unit. So right. So now that's interesting because this is now gone. This is actually gone from the game. And that hasn't changed this situation. So that means that if the depth marker calls for tactical reinforcement, remove the marker and the unit is defeated. And see 9.3. So I think that means. So that's the interesting thing, right? This may be something that I'm going to be doing wrong, because it says if the depth marker calls for a tactical reinforcement, remove the marker and the unit is defeated and see 9.3. Well, 9.3 doesn't really have anything about that. I don't know if that's a misreference, because 9.4 is the thing that talks about tactical reinforcements. But the thing now that I'm wondering is, does remove the marker and the unit is defeated mean that that marker doesn't actually come, that reinforcement doesn't actually come out? I'm gonna go with, because it said that, remove the marker and the unit is defeated, rather than saying something like resolve the marker and the unit is defeated. I'm going to take that to actually mean that this marker does not come out. So I'll put him back. We don't know what that is. So essentially that means that that reinforcement just disappears, never happened. But that unit is now defeated, so that means he goes off to his eliminated unit thing. So he is not an elite unit. So he, I think, goes into there. I'll look that up later. For now, let's just put him in there, and we'll figure out what he's going to be doing. But hooray! That means this guy is defeated. So I could use that command, that one command I have left, to move the tank into here, just to get somebody in that position so it's not taken up again, which may not be a terrible idea, but that's it. That's both our actions used, because I don't want that one refilling. Does mean that I can't move anyone else in there though, which is a bit annoying. Although I could with the free action that I've got from here, I could move one or both of these into there. I could just tell the tank to move up into there and then get this guy to move somewhere else. That might also work. Again, the problem is this HQ is, this arrangement is not great. Again though, if I moved them both into there, then I could do a flanking attack with both of these. And that would work. Yeah, so these guys, I think I am going to go move them into here. Go up there, whatever, but they have to stop there because it's a jungle, but these guys will move into there, and they then can be set up for the next round to try and take this out. So this is done. These are done. This is moved into there. These guys can't do anything. I mean, I guess he could do a move into there, but that's gonna count as a infiltration move, so that's not gonna work. Getting off the darn beach. Again, infiltration move, not preservation move. That won't work. This is going to get a bit crowded next turn. These guys... I mean, this guy can get off there at least. Might be worth doing. The preservation move is only one hex. I don't actually know, like, again, double check. I might check this last time, but double check that. No. Rewind. It's only tanks, it's only infantry and engineers that actually get to do those, so tanks don't get to do that. That's really annoying. Okay. He's done. He could move out. And that would put him in there, but then that's not actually terrible, because no matter what, whoever gets hit there is going to get hit, it doesn't matter. So that'll work, it's concentrated, but that might be a bad idea. So he has moved. And then it's just like, we're basically just going along here and figuring out what we want to do. So I guess we'll move them into here. Their preservation move. I mean, they can do a move for free anyway, but that's where they're going to go. This guy can't go anywhere. These guys get preservation moves though, and I think we're going to put them both into that hex. So he's got to stay there. I think that's it. So that wasn't great, really. But, and you know, we're already taking a pounding here. But I think that's everything that I can do. So the last thing we do is get rid of the disruption markets. Go watch that. I take the right things off and not the actual counters. So now nobody got disrupted by anything in the US action phase. That was all before. They should be all good. Is that everybody? And that's that. That's it. So we are at the end of the turn. We put all the cards off there. And there are 18 cards there and 36 cards there, so we don't need to do the shuffle. And we move into turn 4, back to phase 1. And that is the end of turn 3. I'm just looking again to see if I missed anything, but I don't think I did. I did the tanks. We did everything here. They got disrupted. I think that's it. I'll have to check about the tactical reinforcement thing here because that was a bit weird. But I'll do that hopefully before next time. Right, I think that's it. End of turn 3. See you next time for turn 4. So a little addendum before we move on into turn 4. Got a few corrections to make. Courtesy of some folks on YouTube and on Board Game Geek. So thanks to Sir Brastias, Eric Cornagel and Martin on Board Game Geek for pointing these things out and answering questions. So first things first, as I pointed out in the overlay on turn 3 earlier on, this tactical reinforcement thing that was going on, this actually does happen. So this is the same unit that I just drew it back from the top of the bag that I placed earlier on. I put it back on B10. That does happen. It just doesn't affect the combat here though. So you know, this is all still good, but that unit does get placed in B10 here. So that's that. In this hex, K31 actually is full strength. Now the reason for this is that they moved from here, 0214 into 0314, and they did it as an infiltration move, which was correct technically, because the brown at least is has a chance of hitting them. But purple, for purple's perspective, it's not an infiltration move because there's no fire going on in this hex from purple. It's only in this one, whereas brown is attacking this hex and this hex. And because I drew a purple result, that means that when he moved into here, brown didn't hit him, but purple wouldn't have been able to hit him anyway because it wouldn't count as an infiltration move for him. So the net result is he didn't lose a step when he moved into this hex. So this should be correct now with him at four steps. Over here, on the other hand, this was an infiltration move. I moved 131, I believe, at least, into this hex from here, and that was supposed to be an infiltration move, but I played it as a preservation move. And it's unfortunately a bit too late to do anything about that. So cases like that where it's too late for an undo, I'm just going to let that slide, and let's just assume that people were asleep at the time or something. But you know, weren't paying attention. But that will have to slip through. But they are taking a pounding here, so maybe that's karma payback for them. I don't know. Here, before everyone screams at me at the end of turn 3, yes, I forgot to remove this disrupted counter, so let's get rid of that now. So he's all ready for next turn. Everything else there is good. The last thing here is that the artillery that happened in turn 2, I had a choice between the B1T tank here and C17, and I opted to take the step off B1T that was not correct because if I've got 2 targets there, I'm supposed to go for the one with the most steps. So B1T is actually okay, and C17 was the one that got hit by the artillery. So we'll leave that, we'll correct that there, and I think that means that everything else should be good. I don't think there's anything that's left to correct. So we should be good for turn 4. Thanks to everyone who commented as well and who answered questions. It's definitely appreciated. There's a lot going on in this game, a lot of things that can be forgotten or just got wrong. So I do appreciate the comments. So do keep them coming. And thanks very much. And yeah, I'll see you for turn 4.